So we chill, drink, party for a while longer. And one of the people that was over there was this kid named Haynes. Now, long story short, Haynes is one of the biggest pieces of shit you're ever gonna meet. Like I've always said, I don't know if I could name one person who was the biggest shitbag I met in the army, but he was a strong contender. Very strong. Literally every person in my entire unit hated this guy and wanted to just beat the shit out of him. Somehow I was the only person that liked him. I don't know why I liked him. I might have been the only person in his entire life to like this guy. I don't think his own mother would go to his funeral, right? Yeah. Yeah. His NCOs hated him. All his soldiers hated him. Everyone wanted to just fucking kill this kid. He was just insanely immature. This guy was like 18, 19, going on about 9 or 10. The emotional level of like a 9-year-old or maybe a 5-year-old. I don't know. But just very immature and annoying to everyone but me. And yeah, everywhere he went was just trouble. Could not stay out of trouble. Yeah, this was the guy that used to tell me he wanted to be a criminal for a career. He told me he wanted to kidnap rich people for ransom money, and that's how he would make a living. Despite the fact he was like this 110-pound pussy. That's about how much he weighed. And the only fight I saw him get in, he got knocked the fuck out in like 3 seconds. Yeah. But this motherfucker, true to his word, sure ended up a criminal because he tried to rob somebody with a knife after he got kicked out of the army and he was back in California where he was from, and ends up with like a 10-year prison sentence. He's still in prison to this day. Yeah. Yeah. And him and Shawna had struck up a friendship, and they got pretty close. About as close as me and Shawna had gotten. And now Haynes is trying to get some, right? Now it's like he thinks it's his turn to fuck her. So it's like 11, 12 o'clock. And Shauna, being the skank that she was, invited like 2 or 3 other guys over there. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I already banged her. Whatever. I don't really care what she does after this. But she invites these 2 or 3 guys, and they all go in her bedroom and they close the door. And Haynes is just, he's stupid enough when he's sober. But when he's drunk, I can't even describe the level of just utter stupidity. And he starts getting all jealous and butthurt, right? He doesn't understand. She's a whore. She fucks the first thing she looks at. If she happens to look at you this night, she might fuck you. If she looks at 3 other guys, she might fuck them all at the same time. Well, the wheel landed on the other guys. So again, they go in the bedroom, and Haynes is like, "What's going on?" So drunk. What is those guys in there? I'm like, Haynes, just chill, okay? Whatever. She'll probably fuck you like tomorrow or something. She'll forget about these 3 guys, and you'll get some. Just wait. Have some patience, okay? You're drunk. Just chill the fuck out. Man. And he starts trying to bang on her bedroom door and like go in there. And I had to like physically hold him back. Like, Haynes, no. You weigh like 105 pounds versus 3 fucking sober guys. You're totally wasted. Those guys are gonna kill you, bro. They're gonna beat your ass. They're gonna kick their asses. Haynes, don't do it. I'm telling you, you're really gonna get hurt. Like, it just didn't matter. No matter what I said. And, like, I tried holding him back a few more times, but he just kept trying to breach the door, as we say. And finally, I'm like, you know what? This is gonna get fucking ugly. If the MPs and, like, paramedics have to show up, I'm out of here. Thank God I was sober. Yeah, and I was able to get in my car and leave and go back to the barracks. But yeah, that could have turned real ugly. Fucking Haynes. So, about maybe a week or so later, yeah, about a week, she calls me up and she wants to fuck me a second time. And of course, I couldn't wait. After the first experience, oh, bring it on. And I take a shower, I get dressed, and I start walking out the door to go to her house. And Hernandez happened to be on CQ, right? Now, this is what you call a Jody. You know, a guy that likes to, like, fuck people's wives and girlfriends in the army. Usually that term is reserved for guys that do that while the other guy's deployed. It doesn't matter. He could be in the rear, whatever. He's still a Jody. And I wonder to this day if Hernandez actually knew and he was just kind of playing me. Like, he just didn't give a shit. Because allegedly, he caught Haynes red-handed fucking her. Like, walked in the bedroom and saw, and he just walked out, like, rolled his eyes. He didn't give a fuck. Like, better to be Haynes' problem than mine at this point. I fucking hate her. Hate my wife. And, so, I'm walking out the door. He's on the CQ desk. Like, where you going, Levy? Like, I'm going to see my girlfriend, Hernandez. Oh, yeah? Wanna smoke a cigarette before you go? Sure. So, we stand outside the back of the barracks. We smoke a cigarette and just bullshit for a few minutes. And I leave to go bang his soon-to-be ex-wife. So, I get to her house, and she answers the door in just a t-shirt and, like, panties, right? And she never put her pants on the entire time I was over there. And, of course, we proceed to just have more incredible sex. More of the best I ever had. God, she was so fucking good. Oh, I don't know if I'll ever have one better than her. Just a rock star, right? And unfortunately, she kind of used me a little bit. Remember I mentioned that earlier. She was kind of a scammer and just a scumbag and a low life in general. Like, when Hernandez was on his own, he was a good kid. He didn't have any real problems. As soon as Shawna came in the picture, everything went to shit. Like, when we went to Iraq, he was fine. He did real well, did his job well, went out on patrols. He was the BC battery commander's driver. They were recommending him to be promoted to corporal or sergeant. I mean, they were very impressed with him and his performance over there. As soon as he gets back to Drum and Shawna and Brierly, if you heard that story, another shitbag, everything went downhill. He started, like, doing drugs with the two of them. He failed a piss test and got kicked out. Yeah, she fucked him, right? At least he got custody of their son, which I guess he still has. Took him back to California. But yeah, anyway, so I ended up somehow spending $400 or $500 on Shawna in the span of a month. On what I can't even remember. But yeah, so I realized how little of a fuck she gave when, like, a week after I get out, she calls me and is like, I don't have any money. Can I borrow some money? And, you know, I felt kind of bad and I'm like a pussy sometimes. So I said, yeah, sure. I'll send you like, it was like $100 or something in Western Union. So I send her the money. And then she blows me off and doesn't speak to me anymore. Won't return my calls. Fuck you, you fucking cunt. Are you kidding me? This is how you treat me? Fuck off. But I guess when someone's the best ever, you can find it in your heart to forgive them. So, a few months later, I start talking to her again. And then November comes, and I make my triumphant return to revisit Fort Drum, see my old battle buddies, whatever. And of course, one of my plans is to stop and see her. I didn't know she had a boyfriend, but apparently she did. Some guy named Jerry. She's living down in Oswego, which has to be one of the nastiest shitholes in the whole U.S. Ugh, Oswego is fucking disgusting. I don't know why any kids would want to go to school there. Ugh, no thanks. But yeah, so she's like, yeah, why don't you visit me and Jerry? I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe Jerry will go out for a while and I get a little bit on the side. So I go up there, and at first I thought she was blowing me off. She's not answering my calls and texts, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because my second stop was to go to Drum and see Ross. I was going to sleep in a barracks with Ross for the night I was up there. So I'm like, okay, fuck this bitch. I'm just gonna go up the Drum and just see Ross tonight. Spend 2 nights with him. But then Shawna calls me at the last minute, like, yeah, I'm sorry, Levy. I was sleeping. You know, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I drive back to the address she gave me. You know, ramshackle shithole house, typical upstate New York shit house. And their electric is cut off, right? I don't know if they didn't pay the bill or what, but they have no power in the fucking house. But like state law says that you have to have heat, no matter what. Upstate New York, you can't let you freeze to death. So no lights, no nothing, but they had heat and hot water, at least. And, you know, we used flashlights, our phones to get around the house. And we mostly had a good time. I was a little nervous when I met Jerry, because he was kind of fucking crazy and scary looking. And he's standing in the doorway looking kind of pissed off. And I'm kind of hesitating on like the front walkway. Like, Levy, it's fine. Jerry's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's cool. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So we go in there, shake hands, introduce ourselves, and I really like Jerry a lot. I mean, the guy was kind of a scumbag. He admitted it. He was a drug dealer. He'd gotten busted recently, facing like a 20-year prison sentence. But he seemed cool to me. I didn't have an issue with him. And, yeah, except for when they set me up in a bedroom next to theirs, and they start fucking fooling around. They're just getting ready to fuck. And I got kind of pissed. And I'm like, look, okay, I don't care what you guys do. It's really not my concern. But it's really rude, okay, to fuck. Like, fool around loud enough for your guests to hear. I have plenty of money to stay in a hotel. And Shauna's like, no, no, no. We'll quiet down. Please stay here. Don't leave. We don't want you to leave. They kept their word. I didn't hear another peep out of them the rest of the night. They did whatever quietly. But, yeah, so I ended up going up the Drum, spending a one night with Ross, and I hope to see Shawna again on the way home, which I did. And, yeah, it was not the ending I was hoping for. Because we ended up going out by ourselves for a little bit to, I don't know what it was, McDonald's or something like that. And she's looking all upset, right? And it was like the timing of it was weird, and I'm thinking, she's pregnant. I just know it. I had this gut feeling. And, like, Shawna, are you pregnant? And she kind of got pissed at me, right? And she's like, no, I'm not. What the fuck are you talking about? Definitely not. She tells me, like, a couple weeks or a month later, yeah, I was pregnant. Sorry I snapped at you. Like, yeah, I know. Like, how'd you know that? Like, I'm just smart. Just smart like that. So, yeah, that was the last time I ever saw her. And I was hoping for at least like a goodbye kiss or whatever. Like I got when I left Drum. She literally kissed me on the lips right in front of Hernandez, which she told me later on he was not happy about. But, yeah, it didn't happen upstate. It didn't happen in Oswego because as soon as we pulled the car back in front of her house, Jerry was standing right there, and it was just not going to happen. So we hugged a little bit, and then I left, and I never saw her again. And I only talked to her, like, sparingly over the next few years until the day that we're talking on Facebook, and I bring up Haynes, right, which I told you about. And she goes, I told her about Haynes going to prison. And she's like, sorry about your friend? 4 question marks? Like, friend. It's Haynes, Shawna. Who? Shawna, what? Like, I don't know what happened between the two of them, that she would literally deny his very existence, deny ever knowing the guy. Like, he's Haynes. You were friends with him for like months. You waited by his bedside when he had surgery, bringing him food and everything he needed, and you slept with him. Now you don't know him. And she goes, you know what? She goes, you know what? This is getting ridiculous. Bye. And she blocks me, and we haven't spoken since. It's been like a couple of years already. But, yeah. That was my little story about the girl I met in the army, Shawna, the wife of my battle buddy Hernandez, who I always wanted to fuck. And apparently everyone else wanted to fuck too. And one night I finally had my dream come true. And man, she was the best I ever had. To this day. What a girl. What a fucking girl.